Okay. We are starting our lecture on the new topic in the last lecture that I introduced you all of you about the cleavages are there. From today, we are going to discuss what are the different types of the cleavages are there and what are the different factors affecting the cleavage. Now we were going to discuss that one. Okay, what is the cleavage then? It is a series of mitotic division whereby the enormous volume of egg cytoplasm divided into numerous smaller nucleated cells. Everybody knows that what is in the fertilization there is a fusion of the male gamete and the female gamete. There is a formation of zygote takes place, which is a large cell as compared to the other cells are there, which is a larger one, which have the large cytoplasm into it and into the organisms. After the fertilization is there, these cytoplasm is divided into the smaller and smaller nuclei. Only the nuclear division takes place. Cytokinesis is takes place also, but there is no growth here. What is the definition of growth? The is the number of cell number get increases as well as cell mass is going to increases. But with regarding to this cleavages are there, there is only increasing in the number of the cells is there. There is no increase in mass is there. So cytoplasm is divided into a smaller and smaller and smaller cells by the process of the cleavage is there. In the last lecture, I told you about that in cleavages are affected by different factors. One is the amount of yolk, and the second is the amount of mitotic spindle axis formation is there. These two factors basically affect the cleavages is there. And one more important point about the cleavage is that the here the cells are being forming are very small one. Okay, and one more point is there with regarding to the cleavages is there, amount of yolk is there and mitosis spindle axis is there, and one more point is there. Okay, we will go forward, uh, then I will explain to all of you. Okay. Then in the cleavages, amount of yolk means what? The whatever the cytoplasm is present into it, it provides the nourishment for the developing fetus is there. And in that developing fetus, they require the various factors, that is mRNAs, tRNAs, different types of proteins, different types of enzyme that will provided by yolk is there. If that yolk is larger one, then cleavages are being restricted to that area is there, and depending upon that yolk content of that fertilized egg is there, there are kiva zygote is there are two types of cleavages are there. One is the holoblastic cleavage, that is the complete cleavage. It is also called as what? Holoblastic means what? The complete cleavage is there. And in the second type is what? The miroblastic cleavage is there. It is what? Incomplete cleavage is there. All of you can see in the first one, holoblastic cleavage means there is a complete cleavages are takes place. This is a one zygote is there. In them, from one cell there is a formation of two cells. There is here is a complete what? The cleavage takes place. Then from the two cells there is a formation of four cells. From four cells there is a formation of the eight cells, and then the process is going on till the formation of the 100 cells, that is a morula stage being, or the blastocyst. Till that these cleavages are being taken place, and 100 cells are being forming, and there is growth is there only in the references. There is only increase in the number of cells, but not into the mass of the cells, and this is because there is a presence of only S and the M phase is there, and the gap phases are absent here, and because of that the speed of the cleavages is very high into the into the embryonic development. Cleavages is nothing but the mitosis, but very fast division is there because absence of the gap phases, that is G1 and the G2 phases. The two types which are those holoblastic cleavage and the miroblastic cleavage. In above holoblastic cleavage there is a very less amount of yolk is there, and because of that it shows the complete cleavage is there, and from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8 till the blastocyst is being formed. Then miroblastic cleavages, it is restricted to the area, either animal pole or the vegetal pole. This is the basically this is the animal pole and this is the vegetal pole is there. In that this in this fertilized egg or the zygote is there, the cytoplasm yolk is very very higher in amount, and because of that there is a not complete cleavage is there, where the yolk amount is very less. At that position only there is a division takes place. Here all of you can look at this here, because yolk is present here, and because of that here there is a cleavage is incomplete is there. It is restricted to some area, either animal pole or the vegetal pole. All of you can see that from one cell there is formation of two cells, four cells, or the many more cells, but restricted to some end, either animal pole or the vegetal pole is there. And the cleavage is not complete because yolk is there, because yolk resists the cleavage is there. It is very important point is there. Remember all of you. Then how many types of the cleavages are there? Holoblastic cleavage. One is the complete cleavage. That means the complete cleavage is there, where the yolk amount is very very less. And and second one is what? Meroblastic cleavage, where yolk amount is very very high is there. In that, because yolk resist the cleavages is there, it is restricted to some area of the zygote is there, either animal pole or the vegetal pole is there. Like this way, here is the example. I can zoom that one so all of you can see it very easily. Okay, all of you can see this slide. Yes, Neha.
Yes.
Okay, okay, okay. This is a holoplastic cleavage, and this is a meroplastic cleavage. Okay. The next one is, there are different types of these holoblastic cleavages depending upon the meroblastic cleavage depending upon the yolk content, and the type of axis formation for the formation of from one cell to the two cells. What is the second factor which affect the cleavages is there? The amount of the mitotic spindle axis formation, and depending upon this there are various different cleavages are there that we are going to study is there in this section. Okay. Okay. The holoblastic cleavages are of then four types, depending upon the content of yolk is there. Isolecithal egg are there, and the mesolecithal egg are there. Iso means what? The same one. That means in these eggs, in this more appropriate fertilized egg is there, that is zygote is there. The amount of yolk is distributed evenly into the whatever the yolk is there. It is very little, but काय है the whatever the yolk is there, it is present in very little in amount, and it is spread distributed all over the egg is there. And because of that this type of egg is called as the isolecithal egg. In that the four types of the cleavages are seen. First one is the radial cleavage, second is the spiral cleavage, third one is the bilateral, and four is the rotational one. Then this is the isolecithal one. And mesolecithal egg is what? There is a egg is there in them. Sorry, yolk is there, but it is either on to the animal pole or the vegetal pole is there. And moderate. Meso means what? Moderate, medium is there. That means moderate amount of yolk is present in them, but also they shows the complete division. So it is under complete cleavage is there. So it is placed under the holoblastic cleavages are there, which is shown by the isolecithal egg and the mesolecithal eggs, and it is a isolecithal cleavages are of four types, and mesolecithal cleavages of one type, and it is seen generally into the amphibians, and we are going to study in detail into the frog one. when we are going to study the frog development, then in that also we are going to study this. And this is very very important topic regarding to the net exam, because it is a common question. There is what written into the exams, there is such a diagrams are shown to us, and we have to identify from either the example of the cleavages, or the type of the cleavages takes place from the diagram, or vice versa. Vice versa means what? We have to given that this is a radial cleavage is there, which is found into the isolicital eggs is there. And what is that? Examples: echinoderms, annelids, tunicates, mammals, and we have to identify it correctly. And this is very 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 important one. All of you should remark on your book from one question like this way. Internal fertilization and fertilization is come from that section. The second question is come from this section, that is a cleavages one. Either it is in a set exam or the net exam, but in the net exam, either in a B question or in a C question, they can ask this question about the holoblastic or the cleavages basically. Okay, then this is what the holoblastic cleavage. The isolecital egg shows this complete cleavage is there, and there are for big formation of this mitotic spindle axis. There are these four types of the cleavages are there. First we will see about the radial cleavages. The radial cleavages or example, what are the example of the radial cleavages are there? The echinoderms are there and amphioxys are there. In them the first cleavage, all of you can see that it is an from the animal pole to the vegetal pole is there, and it is a perpendicular one. It is an perpendicular to, sorry, parallel to the axis one is there. The second is also like this way, the parallel one is there like this way. All of you can see here, here is the cleavage, then again here is the cleavage is there, and like this way after that third cleavage takes place perpendicular. First parallel, second parallel, and which is for the animal animal pole to the vegetal pole. This is the animal pole, this is the vegetal pole, and for that it is a काय आहे म्हणजे क्लीवेज काय आहे, parallel to the axis is there for the first and the second cleavage, and third is what, the perpendicular one, and such a type of the cleavages are called as the radial cleavages. Such a cleavages are called as the radial cleavages, and it is commonly seen into the echinoderms is there. And then second cleavage is what, the spiral cleavages are there. The example of the spiral cleavages are annelids, mollusks, flatworms are there. And in this spiral one, all of you can see that there is a axis is going to change. This is from not the animal or the vegetal pore is there. It is like a oblique section, like a oblique, the up and oblique kar do na into the diagrams, like this way the like this way the cleavages takes place into the spiral one, and so called as the spiral one. Like this way there is a oblique cleavages are takes place, and there is a complete cleavage is there. So coming under to the holoblastic cleavage, and point is what, the spiral one, because the axis म्हणजेच काय mitosis spindles are forming obliquely, and so called as the oblique cleavages are present into this, and the name is what, the spiral cleavages are there, and which is shown into the annelids is there. And there is a in this radial section, radial cleavages, bilateral cleavages, rotational cleavages, there is a formation of blastocyst cavities there, but which is absent into this spiral cleavages is there. What is the blastocyst cavity? I will explain to all of you when we will come to the next section is there. Okay, then third one is what, the bilateral cleavage is there. Bilateral cleavage is what, the axis is not from the animal pole to the vegetal pole is there. It is shifted to either on one side. All of you can see here, the cleavages takes place in here. Cleavages takes place here. It is not to from the animal pole to the vegetal pole. It is not a perpendicular, or it is not a parallel to the one. It is shifted either from right side or the left side. Properly we can say that dorsal view or the ventral view is there, and in so called as the bilateral cleavage is there. The cleavage axis displaces towards one of the side of of the center, and it is not a center one or the parallel or the perpendicular one. And blastocyst cavity is present into the bilateral cleavages are there. An example is the tunicates. Example is the tunicates like this way. After development, there is a formation of the blastocyst cavity. In the spiral one, there is no presence of blastocyst cavity, but in the radial cleavages, bilateral cleavages, and rotational cleavages, there is a presence of the blastocyst cavity. We are coming to that section. Okay, the rotational cleavage is there. Rotational cleavage is what the cleavage orientation is unique into this rotational cleavage is there, and it is takes place into the mammals is there, nematodes are there. Unique means what? All of you can see here. It is unique one, not it like a spiral circle oblique ही नहीं है. That it is not shifted to either this end or this end is there. There is a unique nature one is sometime it shows the parallel cleavage, sometime it shows the perpendicular cleavage is there, depending upon the pattern or the instructions given into the to that cleavage is there, and that is the rotational cleavage is there, and which is seen commonly into the mammals. All of you know that that in mammals there is a very less yolk is present, and because of that there is a formation of the placenta after when the fertilization of egg takes place. There is a formation of placenta during the development is there, and that placenta gives us a nourishment from mother to the developing fetus is there. And for remembering this holoblastic cleavage, I will explain to all of you that like mammals. In mammals, what egg yolk is very less, so there is no resistance into them, and because of that, it is a holoblastic and rotational type of the cleavage is there into the mammals and the nematodes, and it is a very unique one. And what is the blastocyst cavity? I explained to all of you this. What is the first stage after the fertilization? There is a formation of the zygote is there, which undergoes the cleavages like the radial, spiral, bilateral, whatever the cleavages is there, holoblastic or the either the meroblastic one. But they undergoes the cleavages are there, and they are developing, and their formation of the new cells are there. Very small cells they are forming is there, and from that these are the stages one. From one cell there is a formation of two cells, then four cells, and there is called as the stage morula one. It is up to this, I think, 16 to 32 cells stage of the embryonic stage is called as the morula, and afterward that is converted into the blastocyst. That blastocyst is what here all of you can see very easily. Here the blastocyst cavity is there. Here the yolk is there, and which is provide the nourishment is there. Whatever the little egg yolk is there, it forms that cavity here, and that cavity is called as the blastocyst cavity, and that form of the embryo developing embryo is called as the blastocyst one. Blastocyst मध्ये the cavity present असते, so called as the blastocyst cavity is there. And there are two types of the cells are being formed into the mammals is there. The outer layer, um, the outer layer into them, it is what the trophoblast, and that is now going to attach with the uterine wall, and that which then develop into the placenta one, and that placenta then provides what the nourishment to us. And these are the cells are there which are situated very high mass of the cells apart from these blastocyst cavity. Near the one end is there, that is called as the inner mass of cells, that is the ICM, inner I C for the cells, mass of cells, and that we are going to convert into the different embryonic developmental stages is there, that is called as the gastrula basically. That means they are from now the ectoderm, mesoderm, and the endoderm is there, and that is the pluripotent cell. pluripotent cells are there. Before that, it may be thought to be it is a totipotent cell is there, and from that there is a formation of these tropoblastic cells, and the here is the inner mass of cells, and the blastocyst cavity is there, which is only absent into the these spiral cleavages मध्ये ती फक्त काय आहे absent आहे in first radial cleavages, bilateral cleavages, and the rotational cleavages. In that, during their development, they all forms what blastocyst cavity, and the developmental stage is what were called as the blastocyst is there. In that, they, in the mammals, they are called as the outer layer is what trophoblast. And here, the opposite to this cavity or near to this cavity, there is a mass of cells present, and that mass of cells called as the inner mass of cells. And that then afterwards, trophoblast is converted into placenta, and this inner mass of cell is now converted into the different layers of the germ layers of the embryo or the gastrula called as, and then they are pluripotent, and formation of the new organs can take place from this embryonic stage of the development is there. And then from the holoblastic cleavage, then last one is what mesolechital eggs. Meso means what? The egg is present, but it is very moderately amount of yolk is there, but yolk is there na, so it resists that somewhat cleavage is there, and which is seen into the or which type of then they forms the cleavage is there, the complete cleavage is there, but radial type of like this way radial आहे, पण it is not isolated आहे. कसं आहे त्यांचा moderate amount of yolk is there, and which is situated either animal or the vegetable pole is there, but there, where yolk is there, opposite to that there is a formation of these cleavage takes place, and which is a complete one, and which is generally shown into the amphibian is there. And so it is what holoblastic cleavage is there, and it is a radial type of the cleavages. First one is the parallel, second is the parallel, and third one is what the perpendicular. Then again perpendicular, then again parallel, then again parallel. Like this way, there is a formation of the or a formation of the development of the embryo takes place by the radial type of the cleavage, but with the moderately amount of yolk, that is a mesolechital yolk is there, and which is generally seen into the amphibians mm, like a frog. We are going to discuss into the egg uh, this type of cleavages. Okay.